In the glittering high-stakes world of the global music industry, few names carry as much weight as HYBE and BTS. At the epicenter of this massive empire stand Kim Taehyung and Jungkook, affectionately dubbed Taekook by millions. But behind the polished music videos and record-breaking streams, a storm has been quietly brewing, and the situation between the mega agency and two of its biggest stars is rapidly reaching a boiling point. The relationship between an artist and their label is always a delicate dance of give and take. Recently, however, the rhythm has faltered. What was once viewed as a mutually beneficial powerhouse alliance is now being heavily scrutinized by fans and industry insiders alike, as the friction over creative control, artist protection, and promotional support comes to light. As Taehyung and Jungkook have matured from teenage idols into formidable solo artists, their artistic visions have become incredibly distinct. Taehyung leans into a soulful, cinematic, and jazz-infused aesthetic, while Jungkook has embraced a raw, unapologetic global pop star persona. The tension arises when the corporate machinery of HYBE attempts to fit these unique, boundary-pushing identities into standard, predictable promotional boxes. The struggle for true creative freedom, whether it's choosing their own schedules, their collaborators, or the exact visual direction of their projects, has become a quiet but intense tug-of-war. A major flashpoint in this narrative is the perceived inequality in how their individual activities are managed. Fans have repeatedly pointed out moments where both Taehyung and Jungkook seem to lack the aggressive, synchronized marketing push that HYBE is famous for providing to other projects. When album rollouts feel rushed, or when massive global achievements are met with minimal corporate acknowledgement, it sends a ripple of frustration not just through the fandom, but seemingly to the artists themselves. Perhaps the most volatile issue is the matter of personal boundaries and protection. Both members have faced intense scrutiny, invasive rumors, and aggressive behavior from sasaengs, obsessive stalkers. The agency's primary duty is to act as an impenetrable shield for its talent. However, delayed legal actions, vague statements, and a perceived lack of aggressive defense against malicious narratives have left many feeling that HYBE is failing to protect the very individuals who helped build the company from the ground up. We are now witnessing a defining moment in K-pop history. Taehyung and Jungkook are no longer just rookies eager to follow a company's blueprint. They are global icons who know their worth and the immense power of their influence. When they subtly push back, whether through candid late-night live streams, independent creative choices, or cryptic social media updates, the world watches. HYBE is left standing at a precarious crossroads. They must choose whether to double down on strict corporate management, risking a deeper fracture with their most prominent stars, or evolve their entire structural model to grant Taekook the absolute autonomy, respect, and aggressive protection they command. The temperature is rising, and in this high-stakes game of corporate control versus artistic evolution, something eventually has to give. This rising tension is more than just a clash between two superstar artists and their management. It represents a seismic shift in the broader entertainment landscape. For decades, the traditional K-pop idol model relied on absolute agency authority, where companies dictated everything from aesthetic choices to public interactions. However, as global icons, Taehyung and Jungkook represent a new era where artists possess unprecedented cultural leverage. Their individual reach extends far beyond traditional company boundaries, turning any friction into a high-stakes conversation about how modern music labels handle top-tier creative talent. At the heart of this unfolding story lies the unprecedented power of the fandom. Millions of supporters around the globe are no longer passive observers. They are active, vocal participants who closely monitor how their beloved artists are treated. When fans perceive a lack of support or protection, their response is swift and coordinated. Digital campaigns, public statements, and shifts in consumer engagement serve as a direct message to corporate leadership. Loyalty belongs to the artists, not the logo. This shifts the balance of power, forcing executives to recognize that neglecting an artist's well-being directly impacts the core foundation of their business. As the narrative continues to unfold, several paths lie ahead. One outcome could see a groundbreaking restructuring of artists' contracts, setting a new industry standard that grants complete creative autonomy while reinforcing robust personal protection. Alternatively, persistent friction might lead to greater independence, where artists increasingly take charge of their own creative ventures and brand partnerships. Regardless of how this chapter concludes, one truth remains clear. The dynamic between management and world-class talent has changed forever. Taehyung and Jungkook stand at the forefront of this evolution, proving that genuine artistry and authentic connection with the audience will always outweigh corporate constraints. What makes this impasse so significant is its ripple effect throughout the entire music ecosystem. Younger artists and emerging talent across the industry are observing every movement, taking notes on how two of the world's biggest performers navigate corporate pressure. By demanding transparency, creative freedom, and proper safeguards, Taehyung and Jungkook are effectively drafting a new standard for future generations. They are demonstrating that achieving peak global success does not require sacrificing personal artistic identity or remaining silent in the face of administrative oversights. Throughout every wave of industry noise and media speculation, the shared bond between Taehyung and Jungkook remains an unshakable foundation. Having grown up together under the intense glare of global stardom, their mutual understanding extends far beyond mere professional collaboration. This grounded synergy allows them to navigate the pressures of high-stakes corporate negotiations without losing sight of their core values. Their ability to remain aligned while pursuing drastically different individual musical paths reinforces their position not just as solo powerhouses, but as a united force within the wider industry matrix. Ultimately, the dynamic between HYBE and Taekook is an ongoing narrative that continues to unfold in real time. It serves as a compelling testament to the inevitable friction between massive commercial infrastructure and unyielding artistic evolution. As the global music landscape transforms, one fundamental truth stands firm. True icons cannot be permanently confined to rigid corporate templates. Whatever choices lie on the path ahead, the world remains captivated, waiting to see how these legendary artists continue to redefine the boundaries of global pop culture strictly on their own terms.